I think as the Latino community gains more prominence, more political power, more social power, and simply just more visibility in our media and in our communities, I think you're starting to see uh, people who identify as LGBTQ come out, right, within the Latino community, and that's making a big difference. Um, I think that a lot of times we think of the LGBTQ community as one community and Latino as something different, as if you can't be both, right? Because, like, as if we've never heard of someone who's Latino and gay or Latina and lesbian or, whatever it might be. That happens, like that's just part of someone's identity. Um, but I think a lot of times, especially in the media, right, when we talk about it in a general context, I think a lot of times we forget that and we see, again, the Latino community is one thing and the LGBT community is another thing, not realizing like the intersections of those communities and how that plays out in like individual people. Um, but I think we're at a good place right now where I think we're noticing that a lot of our issues are intertwined. And one such case, for example, is what you're seeing with with ICE immigration. What's going on there with the immigration camps that they have. So a lot of times we talk about how people are being imprisoned in ICE camps and immigration camps. And recently, what you started to see is an inclusivity, right? A more inclusive message coming out, especially from a lot of the activists who are being like, are saying, wait a minute, like, yes, people are being held, and that's really horrible. But there are some people who are being held, and they're LGBT, especially the T part of that. They're being held and in prisons that are not what their gender is, right? So you have men being assigned to female prisons and vice versa, and then sometimes you have gay men and queer women and just queer people in general being beaten in these prisons. And so what you're trying to see now is people realizing that a lot of times our issues are not independent of one another, right? So like gay rights and queer rights are not one thing, and immigrant rights are not another thing. Like they're intertwined, and so I think we're starting to see a movement going forward that is starting to realize that a lot of our issues are not separate, and so I think that's a really good place to be.